Hello, welcome to Sean Disco's midterm presentation. This is just where I go over kind of what I've been doing and the whole of the project. And so the building that I chose for this project was my family's home in Atlanta, Georgia. I chose this just because I was familiar with the layout and I thought it'd be a fun challenge to try and kind of, go through and model something I was familiar with. It seemed to have all the components of kind of the things that we've been learning about in this class. So I thought it would be a fun challenge. So this is a residential home in Atlanta, Georgia, a suburban home, and the size in the model here is around 3,800 square feet. I do not know if that's the actual size, but that was the size that I went with just to make sure that I could get all the features in kind of as accurately as I could. I wasn't really worried about size comparison to the real thing, just making sure I could get all the individual parts of it kind of in this model. And so moving to the level 2 process map here. So obviously we begin with starting the process, and we have to brainstorm and select a building concept. And so I had already had the idea of modeling my own home as a challenge that I wanted to do kind of regardless of whether this came up in the class or not. So this seemed kind of like the perfect opportunity to take advantage of that. And so what was going into that is obviously project info and publicly available building references, and also just my own personal knowledge of the home and the different aspects of it. And so once I had my concept in mind, I had to set up my Revit document and create the architectural and structural models, just going through and placing in all the different important components that were listed on the project info. And then once I had those, I had to assure the coherency between those elements, making sure that nothing was clashing, making sure that nothing was looking weird, just because it was being put in some kind of strange way. And then if that turned out right, which yes it did, I end up with my initial completed 3D model. Moving forward from there, I could link those model views, like the level 1 view and the level 2 and the north, south, east, and west views, to the respective construction documents, just making sure that everything was, everything that was being asked for was on a document. And then I got those documents out. And then once I had all that done, I went back through and validated for LOD 300 compliance, just making sure that everything was up to the right level of detail, and everything, had everything that was referenced in the reference guide, which I used to make sure it was validating. And so once it did satisfy that, I could go through and annotate the construction documents fully, making sure all the titles and everything were in, making sure everything was named correctly. And then the end process delivers me my final deliverables. Moving forward onto the actual documents themselves, here's the level 1 floor plan, and here's the level 2 floor plan. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, I believe. And here are just my menagerie of construction documents. So again, the level 1 floor plan view, kind of showing you the main entrance here, and the rear view back here. The level 2, I'm showing you just again all the walls and architectural components. This is a bay window up above the main door. Stairwell coming up here, stairwell coming up, rear stairwell coming back over here. There's a garage door here with a window above, and a second-story bedroom here. Some north-south elevation views, just showing you again the building from the outside, east-west, the building from the side. There's much less going on the east-west side of my house than the front and the back sides, which I don't think is too uncommon. And then we have our section views. I thought it'd be good to just get in across kind of the middle of the house here, just from east to west, getting you a full view of kind of each of the different rooms and how it was kind of partitioned out. And then this one, I thought it was important to kind of see how the stairwell goes up over this kind of little room here, which actually is a bathroom in real life. And then finally, we have our structural drawing detail, which kind of just shows you the vertical and horizontal structural columns and architectural columns that I use to kind of provide the structure for the building. What did I learn from this modeling process? I currently have had an internship for the past 3 years with Pond, which is a engineering consulting firm. So basically my whole job for the past 3 summers has been MEP modeling, HVAC and plumbing systems in Revit, just like this, for real, like barracks and manufacturing facilities and stuff like that. So there wasn't a whole lot of new stuff in terms of figuring out how this stuff worked, but there was a whole lot of new challenges I had in terms of like figuring out how to place stairs and how to aesthetically make the windows look good and make the walls look good and make these columns look good. Especially the structural components were particularly difficult for me to wrap my head around, because I mean, personally, having worked in the MEP, we really don't have to deal with the structural components other than avoiding them. So having to go in and place those and figure out where I wanted to put the columns and making sure, obviously it's not being constructed, but making sure to some extent that I felt like those supports were in reasonable places to support this building was a challenge for me. And obviously some better time management could have gone into this, because I didn't quite have the opportunity that I wanted to kind of go through and put in some ductwork or plumbing to kind of better demonstrate to you what the different rooms were, like the bathrooms or the bedrooms and stuff like that, and potentially even do a, HVAC balance just to make sure all the rooms were getting the right airflow and everything, because that's something I'm more familiar with. So I thought that would have been a fun little thing to add on, but I just ran out of time, unfortunately. And so, yeah, I think that about does it for my presentation. Thank you.